How's it going, guys? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at the deck for the standard format, and this time I built something very risky to play. So it's a Darkrai with the Hypno, of course, as the main attack, and for the support attack I have Zoroark and Raticate. So basically I can attack with four different attacks and three different attackers. So Darkrai, of course, is going to be the main attacker here, but with a Dark Head. Because if your opponent active Pokemon is asleep, this attack will does 80 more damage. So with the Fighting Fury belt, I can go for 170, and with the Giovanni scheme, I can go for 190, which means that this is going to be pretty much enough to one-hit knock out everything except for the Whaler DX, of course, which is played in the standard format without Fighting Fury belt. But even with the Fighting Fury belt, if I can play my Rattata and just discard tool from my opponent active Pokemon, but that thing I can do only once. So yeah, I mean, if I can pull two prize cards, I'm definitely going to be happy with that. Also, I can take the advantage if I can't one-hit knock at my opponent active Pokemon, just putting him in a sleep mode, and I can just, attack for, let's say, 170, and still if he don't wake up, I can just finish him next turn. Also, Zoroark is here for the stand-in, so just in case I don't have Stadium, I can use advantage of the Zoroark stand-in and retreat. Also, with the Mind Jack, I can go for 10 plus 30 for each of my opponent Pokemon in play. And also with Eradicate, I can just Shadow Bite for 60 times the number of special energy in my opponent discard pile, which is very powerful because I have also two Enhanced Hammers, so I can just, by playing two Enhanced Hammers, increase the damage for 120. But also with the Crunch, I can just discard energy from my opponent active Pokemon. Even that can be sometimes good, just in case I don't have Darkrai in play. So with 12 Pokemon and 36 trainer cards, I also have 12 energies in this build. 8 of them are going to be just basic regular darkness energies and 4 double chorus energies. So let's just look at some other cards. I decided to go with 2 copies of Enhanced Hammers. I really like it because it makes sense with Eradicate, but also it will take me takes advantage against those Darkrays with Giratinas, also those annoying Beastly Fang, Salamence EXs, Friday Night Evoltile, so it makes a lot of sense to have 2 copies of Enhanced Hammer, also 2 copies of Level Ball, because with the Level Ball I can pretty much get myself Rattata, Raticate, Zorua, Drowsy, or even Hypno pretty much without discarding anything. Also 4 copies of Max Elixir. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck. Put a energy basic and attached to one of your benched Pokemon. 1 copy of Super Road, just to be able to recycle those darkness energies or pretty much any of those Pokemons that you can see right here on the list. Only 2 copies of Trainer's Mails, didn't find space for more than 2. Also, even with 2 copies, the deck works just pretty good. It's also very consistent. Also, for 4 copies of Ultra Ball, with 4 copies of Ultra Ball, I can pretty much search my deck for the Shaman and get that extra drop support. So that makes a lot of sense. 4 copies of VS Seeker, and then moving on to supporter line, I'm running 1 copy of Giovanni Scheme. As I mentioned it earlier, it can add 20 damage, but it can also be third supporter for drop. I mean, you can drop constantly, have 5 in your hand with Giovanni Scheme. 1 copy of Hex Maniac to better match up against those Greninjas. And then one very interesting one Lysander, but also interesting thing that I decided to go with 3 copies of N in this situation instead of 3 copies of Trainer's Mails and 2 copies of N. So I really like the that third N, but because sometimes it's just much better than Trainer's Mail for nothing. 1 copy of Olympia, also in case I can't retreat, or I don't have Flowstone, for example, I can just stand in, but then I can play Olympia and retreat back down to my Darkrai, and still use my Dark Head for 170 or pretty much 170, because if I play Olympia, I cannot add Giovanni Scheme. But we all know Olympia has a lot of sense, also because it can help me to retreat, actually switch and heal 30 damage in a single turn, which is very powerful. 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, and then moving on to the Stadium list and tools. Of course, 2 copies of Chaos Tower, because with the Chaos Tower in play, I cannot be affected by Sleep and Paralyze, which is very important, because after I use my Goodnight Babies, both active Pokemon are going to be asleep, except for mine, of course, if I have that Chaos Tower. 2 copies of Fighting Fury Bell to add 10 more attack on my Darkrai Dark Head, and also 40 damage to his 40 HP to his HP, so he can have 220 in total. Very important and very powerful. 2 copies of Float Stones, you know, for that for retreat with my Zoroark after I use my stand-in retreat, and 12 energies as I mentioned earlier. 4 of them are going to be double colors energies and 8 basic darkness energies. So I really like the deck, and it's very interesting to play with it, but it's also risky. The only problem for the deck is definitely Garbodor, because Garbodor definitely makes a hard time playing against it, but as long as you can just one-hit knock your opponent Garbodor with the Mind Jack or with the Dark Head or Dark Pulse, you don't need to worry about anything anymore, because you can take the advantage of sleeping your opponent and taking knockouts with your Dark Head with just a single shot. So it's definitely a good deck to try to play it, but definitely not top competitive, but it can definitely be also even top competitive if you can just take advantage, knocking out your opponent Garbodor and being able to set up your Hypno pretty much fast in play. But also, I really like the idea where when you can just one-hit knock out your opponent, also Greninja Break with Dark Head. But of course, smart Greninja player should just play those, should just play those Shadow Snitching instead of the Moonlight Slashes, and they will not have any problems against your abilities. So yeah, let's do some game tests so you can actually see how the deck works in the action. So see you in the game. Okay, so let's do this. Starting first, so just wondering how bad I can start. Just one Shaman in my hand. Hopefully top deck is gonna be something good, because this definitely does not look promising. I mean, I can take one extra card because my opponent was not able to get basic Pokemon turn 1, but that's just gonna be it. Another Shaman and Ultra Ball. Okay, at least that Ultra Ball is gonna save the day here. Thinking about Lysander and Enhanced Hammer for 1 copy of my Darkrai. The good thing is that in my deck is also both Raticate and Zoroark line, so I should definitely take advantage of that. Alright, so I cannot be affected by sleep, that's okay. 1 Darkness Energy down to my Darkrai again, Shaman for 5. At the end, I actually did a good job. I mean, definitely, I cannot complain too much. There is also 1 copy of Level Ball, and I'm thinking about getting that Zorua and putting onto bench. Then I can also play 1 more Max Elixir. There we go, another energy, which means that right now I have 3 energies in play. Trainer's Mail. What can I find with the Trainer's Mail? Maybe another copy of Level Ball so I can get myself... actually, Ultra Ball, also not that bad. Ultra Ball for, I guess a V-Seeker and Enhanced Hammer, so I can have that Drowsy, and I can put my Drowsy on the bench, play N, and hope to get maybe Float Stone. No sign of it, but there is another Max Elixir and 3 energies in my hand. So the possibility to hit Max Elixir is very low in this situation. I mean, probably running 8 energies in total, I don't think it's a good thing to play Max Elixir right now. So I just decide to pass the turn with already 3 energies in play. And for the next turn, I'm going to attach one energy, not a fighting energy, but 1 darkness energy to my probably Zorua, and then I will try to end and hope to get maybe Zoroark and Flowstone, or just Flowstone, so I can retreat Shaman for free with the Flowstone and attack with my Dark Pulse or Dark Head. It really depends. So there is 1 double course energy, and that's just pretty much it. Still, I can attach double course energy and play my N. I'm not scared too much. I didn't... Oh, nice. Okay. I discarded already 2 of my Enhanced Hammers, so that means only 1 thing. I will not have another one. But the good thing is that I can retreat right now, and I can basically attack with my Dark Pulse. I can also go with my Dark Head, and somehow I think it's gonna be much better to go with the Dark Head. So I have Stadium in play, and I cannot be affected by Special Condition, which means that in case he does not wake up, I can actually deal crazy damage, 160. So let's just go with Dark Head for 160 and let's see if he can wakes up. Unfortunately he can, which means that he can attack for 170. With Giovanni's scheme he can even knock out my Darkrai. And I'm a little bit worried about that. I should definitely say that. Well, there is Garbodor in play. Maybe I shouldn't attack for so many damage counters. Maybe I should just go with my Dark Pulse for like 80 because of the less damage counters that he can actually output to my Darkrai. But it's okay. I mean, at least I can't use my Goodnight Babies anymore. So that's only bad sign. I will need definitely to knock out that Garbodor. Something like a top deck, maybe Lysander would not be that bad. There's another Float Stone, and yeah, I mean I shouldn't go with the VC for Lysander even if I can, because I need to knock out his Pidgeot right now. He is the main threat, and there is N. So luckily I will get 6 new cards here, and that's just very nice. There is Zoroark, Floatstone, Olympia, Super Road, Energy, and M. I definitely like that. So 1 Ultra Ball. Let's see what he can get with the Ultra Ball. Probably another Raticate. Probably. I mean, he definitely needs. Oh, why Shaman if you have Garbodor? This just does not make any sense right now. Maybe he just misclicked on that Shaman and just realized later, well, I have my Garbodor in play. I simply cannot set up my Shaman. That's definitely a huge disadvantage. I mean, that Garbodor also makes a lot of problems to my opponent, same as to me. Oh, luckily I managed to survive, so that's just great. 1 Zoroark for me in play, 1 energy down to my Shaman. I can play Super Road, which means that I can recycle Raticate, but somehow I don't feel that's smart option to do, so I'm definitely going to use my... I'm looking for that Lysander, simply. And I simply can't get one. Do I want to play Trainer's Mail this turn? Well, I guess I'm gonna do that. And there is another max elixir for me, so maybe I can find more resources. Yes. 1 more energy, and it's gonna be attached to my Drowsy. Yeah, just in case of the Lysander. And I'm gonna use my Dark Head this turn, because it's just 80 damage, and next turn I can basically one-hit knock him out with my Dark Pulse, because I have 6 energies and that's 120, and Dark Pulse is 20 more, which is 140, so I don't need to attack with my Dark Pulse, because that's actually a disadvantage if I do that. And there is Ultra Ball for the Pidgeot, so definitely that Ultra Ball turn before for the Shaman was a mistake or misplay in my opinion. On the other side, so far so good. He can attack for 90, and then I can just knock him out, and then he will have 1 turn not being able to do anything, and then I can maybe somehow pull out 1 hit knockout against his other Pidgeot, or maybe even find a way to knock out his Garbodor. So another max elixir, and another energy for me, which is just great, I guess. 1 energy from my hand down to the Shaman. I'm gonna play my Super Road definitely for that Raticate, and I'm looking forward to play my Sycamore for 7. So there is Rattata, Raticate, also Floatstone. Okay, let's just go with the Dark Pulse, so I can see for how many damage right now I can go for 160, which means next turn I can go for 180, but with the Fighting Fury Belt, it's just not going to be enough for the knockout. But the good thing is that there is 1 copy, 2 copies of Lysanders in my hand, which means that I can go for the knockout against his Glaceon, or I can even go for the knockout against his Garbodor. Somehow I'm thinking about knocking out that Garbodor is just going to be a very, very good thing for me. Because even if you can go for 80, it's just not going to be enough for the knockout. But the Glaceon, Glaceon's Secret Bite, second bite actually for 20 plus 90 will be enough for the knockout. So I definitely need to perform that Lysander on his benched Glaceon in this situation, so that's something that I need to play. Okay, I even managed to get a Fighting Fury Belt. That's perfect. So let's go with the Lysander, of course, all night long Lysander for that Glaceon, because Glaceon right now is the only threat. So I just want to eliminate it and strike with my Dark Pulse for 190, and at the end I just pull 2 prize cards against the Glaceon, and I just need to knock on one of his Pidgeots to complete my 6 prize cards, and that's just gonna be it. However, he simply can't output too many damage counters here with his Pidgeot. So I think the game is pretty much over, and really it is. Okay, so waiting my opponent to load the game, and then we can kick off. So I'm gonna call heads as usual, and looks like I'm gonna start probably second because I didn't want the coin flip. Oh, actually I'm kinda surprised that I'm starting first. Okay, that's perfect, I guess. I can set up, so I don't mind too much about that. Drowsy for me, so I have Ultra Ball and the Max Elixir sitting in my hand. Okay, nice top deck also, so let's just go with the Ultra Ball for Hex Maniac and 1 Hypno, definitely. And I'm gonna get myself... Okay, I'm gonna get myself... Zoroark is priced, so I don't need Zorua. Definitely Darkrai, because of the advantage of Fighting Fury Belt, Max Elixir, Darkness Energy, and stuff like that. So I definitely want to do all of those things. There we go, 1 energy, 1 more energy, and N. Okay, so there is Level Ball for me, which means that I can get another Drowsy and put him on the bench. Somehow I'm thinking I should do that. No need to go for that. No need definitely to go for my Rattata so far, because Rattata is just gonna be a secret weapon. I'm just looking forward to surprise my opponent from nowhere with the Rattata. Let's go with the Max Elixir, 1 more energy down to my Darkrai. I could even wait for another Darkrai, I guess, so I can have that Max Elixir on another Darkrai, but I just decide to go with this one. And that's just gonna be it for now. Yep, it's gonna be it. I mean, next turn I can have Hypno, and I can also retreat and put my opponent shaming in sleep mode. There is 1 Birch Observation, that's interesting. Unfortunately for him, Tails, so he goes down to 4. There is Giratina, Darkness Energy, a Max Elixir. And I guess shaming as the last card in his hand would be just perfect, but it's not. Alright, which means only one thing. I'm going to help my opponent here a little bit, but it's just a little bit with that M. Simply, I didn't want to discard so many resources. On the other side, I was also searching for my Flowstone, and I managed to get one. So I have 2 Trainer's Mails in my hand, and there is 1 more Fighting Fury Belt and the Ultra Ball and the Level Ball. So I guess I can get that Level Ball. Another Trainer's Mail for Chaos Tower, that's okay, which means that right now I can just, you know, retreat down to my Darkrai, and then I can play my Chaos Tower in play. And there we go. So let's just play Goodnight Babies. And Dark Head for 170. Alright, for the next turn, just in case, if he managed to get Fighting Fury Belt, I'm gonna play Level Ball and I'm gonna get myself Rattata. If he don't decide to play Fighting Fury Belt, I'm gonna Level Ball for probably Zorua, so I can have that Zoroark. And of course I'm gonna play... Actually, I will just go with Dark Pulse, whatever. Not the Dark Pulse, but with the Dark Head, because I will just wait a turn more to play that Zoroark, I guess. Or maybe I could even go with my M. I mean, I can even go with the Sycamore for 7, or even Lysander. Still need to think a little bit about it. Because once he managed to play Chaos Wheel, I'm gonna be unable to play my... Okay, another Birch Observation, interesting. So he missed the opportunity to get that Chaos Wheel this turn. And there is Fighting Fury Bell, but... Oh, Fighting Fury Bell down to the bench at Darkrai with Abyssal Sleep. Oh my gosh, and Escape Rope. Escape Rope down to Drowsy. He is the only one who has Flowstone and who can retreat actually. So yeah, he can have that Oblivion Wing for 30. He can have that. I don't care too much about it. I just care about that Lysander that I need to use and perform some... Oh, what a nice top deck. Zorua was a top deck. And I have Lysander here, so I will definitely retreat. And Lysander, he's Giratina, and I think that this is just gonna be it. After this knockout, this is probably gonna be it. Good night, babies. And one Dark Head. So 170, another 2 prize cards for me, which means that I need to pull 2 more prize cards only, and the game is just gonna be over. So there is... On the other side, he can definitely use Abyssal Sleep, but the good thing is that I have that Chaos Tower in play, and as long as I have Chaos Tower in play, my Darkrai cannot be affected with the special condition Paralyze or Asleep. So I can't be affected. Oh, right now I can be affected with that Reverse Wally, but still I can just stand in retreat. Before I do that, of course I hit just 1 head. Before I do that, I'm going to play my Zoroark, then I'm going to attach my Double Core's Energy down to my Zoroark. It's time for the end. It's time for the... oh, not for the end, for the Level Ball. Let me just say something. I can also Ultra Ball just to see if I have Flowstone left. Yes, I do have, so maybe it's a little bit better to get that Shaman. I mean, yeah, still I can knock out his Darkrai. I mean, still I can knock him out, I can even stand in, retreat, but let's just go with the Shaman for 3. Let's see if I can find a Floatstone. Looks like I can't, but however, I can find... Oh, let's just go with the... Let's first go with the Goodnight Babies. Then I'm gonna stand in. And then I'm gonna play my Olympia. Just because I can do that. And that's just brilliant. Down to my Darkrai and Super Road for nothing, I guess. So let's just go with another Dark Pulse, which is gonna be another 170 damage. And I think right now the game is just over. It's the only 1 prize card left for me, and yeah, my opponent just decides to quit, so it is how it is. The game is over.